What's up, friends? This is Thag, and this is Thag's Dino Reviews and Paleopolitics. And today we are, in fact, going to do a dino review. As I said on my last post, this is an animal and a company that I think is going to have a huge impact on the model dinosaur business, the scientific type models, in the very near future. Now, to be completely honest, this model was produced in 2018, I believe is when it came out, and I did not purchase it right away. I did want it, but I wanted to wait a while because a lot of times when you do that, you'll get a lot of things from the factory that'll be cleaned up and changed as other reviews come in, and that's exactly what happened with this model. However, I've got it now, and believe me, I am suitably impressed. It's in 1/40th scale, and quite frankly, there are a lot of details on it that I really love. Now, there's a couple things I don't like. One's a nitpick, the other is not, but we'll go over that later. Let's take a minute and just kind of go around the beast and see what we've got. All right, let's start right here at the head. That's the best place. And it has what I consider a beautiful beak and predentary. Just gorgeous. The tongue is well sculpted out there. It looks like he's bleeding out a warning to his other ornithopod friends, and that's what an iguanodon is. It is an ornithopod. And look at the scalation detail on the head. It is just gorgeous, really. And around the eye there, the small scales, the folding on the face. Let's see if we can get this side. The same thing, beautiful. Anyway, all the scalation. The dermal spines across the back, beautiful. All of the scalation is just terrific. If you go down the neck, now, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know if this was by accident or what, but if you look right here and feel that, you will feel a little lump. And you can almost see it if I hold it steady enough, which I don't know if I can do that for you. But that is exactly where I would expect the crop to be, and I would expect Iguanodon to have a crop. So that's where I would think it would be. Anyway, we go back along the legs, and you can see, I think they're exactly the size they should be. And look at the scales. Look at the folding between the manus and the pes, the front legs, the rear legs, the front hands, the rear legs, feet. And it's really nice. Then you get along the back here, and you have what looks like the cauda femoralis muscle pulling back on the leg. And again, beautiful. I don't know if the sculptor took all this into account or we're just lucky. Here's another thing that I really like about this animal is if you look at the tail, the first third of the tail coming out is pretty straight. And the reason that is because the iguanodons had ossified tendons that held the tail pretty rigid, and that allowed the tail to be rigid as a counterbalance and to aid in walking. And this was a quadruped, there's no doubt about it. It could facilitate the use of its rear legs to stand up on, but in fact it probably was a quadruped. Now if you go down the legs in the front here, you can see the traditional spike on the end of the on the end of the hand that was originally thought to be on the nose, but in fact it turned out to be a claw spike. And by the way, we have many good examples of iguanodon brought in from a Belgian mine where they encountered a whole group of really perfect specimens. They just got every bone and everything. and they were able to mount them. They mounted them incorrectly, and it took a long time to get that sorted out, but boy, have we got something today. Now, if you look at the tail, same thing, it's fairly straight, and that is the counterbalance. There's no question about it. Beautiful, beautiful scales. And another thing that I love about this animal, two things. One, the counter shading, in my opinion, starts right where it should start, right in here, right along the belly. See if I can get this a little better for you. But right here, just perfect. And it really, really offsets that. And look at the scale detail. Oh, I'm sorry. Look at the scale detail on the bottom of the feet and the hands. Unbelievable. Look at the sculpting on the claws, the unguals. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. No question. And this is a huge, huge benefit for this animal. Anyway, the back legs, they have a perfect calf, I think. The cloaca is in place. There is just on this side of the tail, the same thing. You get good folding and good stretching of the skin. It really looks nice. It really does. And probably the one thing that I really love about this animal is the paint job. I know some people are not going to like the little the little black marks. I do. I think they cut up the side of the animal very nicely and camouflage it very well. If you look at the paint, it looks like what they did was they put a nice base color on it, then they dry brushed it, and then they washed it, and they gave it a really nice wash, and that makes the scales really stand out. Anatomically, I think it's very correct. I look at this, the one thing that I do to judge whether or not it's a good model is by whether I think it's organic or not. And to me, I'm looking at this and that's exactly what I'm seeing, an organic animal. Another thing too that I like that they did, I get sick of these models that come in and you can see all the ribs, you can see the scapula and the coracoid defined, and that's a bunch of baloney. In life, any animal that was healthy and getting enough to eat, not overweight, but just simply a good healthy animal in sync with its environment, you wouldn't see those things. You'd see muscle stretched over the scapula and all that. You would see integument stretched over the muscle. There would be very little definition of those bones if the animal was healthy and well fed. So to me, it's a plus. Okay, let's go to the pros and cons. Let's start with the cons. I only have two cons. The first is, let me get this again, the underbelly. I wish that they had done a wash on the counter shading to make the scales stand out a little bit more, like they did on the top of the body. Geez, that is just a gorgeous job. But they did not. For what reason, I do not know. I am not the sculptor or the painter. But I would love that. To me, that's a minor nitpick on my part. I totally agree. It's not a game changer on this model at all. However, one other thing, and it's not a game changer either, so don't get me wrong. This is an animal that lived in the margins alongside lakes, lagoons, and rivers, and it would have waded through any amount of muck and mire. And matter of fact, I think a large number of all dinosaurs were wandering around in deep muck and mire. And as a result, I feel that their claws, all the unguals, would have been quite a bit like you see on an elephant today, a dark gray matte finished or even almost a black, and the lower extremities would have been stained also and a lot darker. That's my only really really two negatives on this, and they're not game changers. You're going to want this model, believe me. If you don't have it, you got to try to get it. Okay, on the pro side, well, as I said, I think the face sculpt is just gorgeous. I really do. I love the tongue. I love the stance. I love the scales. I love the paint job. And it's really standing out. I think the counter shading starts right where I would expect it to. And as a result, I look at this as a really organic model. I mean, it really defines what an iguanodon was. Everything about it. And there's one more thing, and that's the reason that I decided to review this dinosaur. And I'll tell you what, Collecta, this is their 1/40th scale in their deluxe series. And you can buy this animal right now for under $25. Now, it is getting scarce, and I don't know if there'll be another release of it, but if you can find it and you can get it at that price range, it's unbeatable. PNSO has a beautiful iguanodon that I really like. Matter of fact, there's several of them out there, but I don't go in for the popular series, and I don't go in for the really toy-like stuff. I'm only interested in scientific type models like this. And PNSO is at about $59, and I don't know if a Nanmu model is available. There's a couple others out there, but nobody touches Collecta when it comes to the price. $24.99 for this model right now. And if you get one, if you go to one of the high-end sellers and they have them and they're offering discounts, you'll get an even better deal than that. But this is an absolutely gorgeous model, and I'm telling you right now, you've got to have this in your collection. And I say that the Collecta trend is going to be significant in the future. There's no question. Okay, this is Thag, and I'm out of here, but I'll be looking for you guys on the next post. If you can, subscribe. Give me a comment on this. Let me know. And I am working on something in the near future that is going to be available to the public, and it will be free, and it has to do with my campaign to stop the auctioning off of Western North American dinosaur skeletons, the Jurassic and Cretaceous giants. That's got to end. It's got to end, or it's got to be modified. Anyway, okay, I'm Thag. I'm yours for the discipline, and I'll catch you on the rebound.